season? Was it something in the summer where your body told you that it was time, or where did that come from?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. Like I don't think I can say it was one thing. There was one particular time that made me really make that decision. I think it was more over time. I knew that. So when I signed this past summer, I knew it was for 1 year. I was leaning that it might be my last year, so the whole year I was kind of preparing for that. And over time, with the body and realizing that it was just time for me to kind of move on. And there's a lot of things that kind of influenced me, but obviously the main thing is probably the body and spending more time with the family and kind of I've always wanted to and told myself that for me I wanted to play the game at the highest level that I could, and felt like I wanted kind of to leave on top of my game and feeling good about it, but also thinking about the future and knowing that I want to continue to being able to spend time with the family, but also being active and doing other things and other endeavors that I've always wanted to, but I never really had the time to do.
Patrice, congratulations again.
Thank you.
I assume that the decision to retire involved family and counsel and friends and people you're close to. But has there been a meeting yet? You mentioned the future a few minutes ago. Like, what is the future? Was the future discussed, or is that to be determined down the road? I don't mean exactly what you're going to do, but is there some kind of framework of what Patrice Bergeron's future looks like?
No, not for now. I think right now it's really more I want to take the time to really take a step back and think about what I want to do and what's the next chapter is going to be like. First and foremost, it's going to be, taking some time for myself and my family and spending some more time at home. Obviously, as you know, I've always been grateful and thankful for being a professional athlete and being able to live a childhood dream, but also at the same time, it takes away some family time and some time, away from the kids. So I have some catching up to do, and I'm looking forward to that. And then eventually, I'm sure there's going to be, a next chapter or things that I was going to, that I'll want to do, I guess I should say.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you released a statement, but what would your message be to the Boston fans right here and now?
Yeah, thank you for everything. It's been an absolute honor to, when you get drafted, you never know, right, where you're going to end up, what the journey is going to be like. It's obviously a dream, as I said many times, and I couldn't be more grateful and thankful for, being here, arriving as an 18-year-old kid, basically, a young adult, not knowing too much, whether it's the language or even the adult life, really. And, the city really took me under its wing and embraced me, and it's been special. So the fans and everyone, I'm thankful for the memories and everything that you guys have brought to me and my family.
Hey, Patrice, congratulations.
Thanks.
And thanks for everything over the years. I just wonder if you can go back. I know it's a long time ago, but when you were out in the 2007-08 season after the concussion and you're going through hell, basically, what's going through your head there, and what was like a turning point for you where you knew you were going to be able to still achieve your dream?
Yeah, I think at that particular moment, you're more thinking about your future and just making sure you're going to live a good life, right? So it was a long journey and a long process, but then I think like the next year, I started feeling better. I knew there was still some work to do, and but yeah, it's a good question. I think over time, I've always believed that I was going to find a way to get back on track and towards my goals and what I thought I could and we could accomplish as a team. So yeah, I think it took a few years, a lot of help, obviously on the mental side. Dr. Steve Durant has been helping me since the beginning, and after that, that incident actually, and my family, obviously all the support that I've had to get me back on track and feeling better about myself mentally and also physically.
Do you remember that feeling when you first got back on the ice for a game?
Yeah, it was special, and I think I feel like I've said that before, but like things happen for a reason. of course, I'd like to change that moment, but at the same time, I wouldn't, because it made me stronger, made me realize how thankful I am and grateful to be able to play that sport. As I said before, a childhood dream, and they took that away from me for quite some time. And so every time in the harder days or the dog days of winter when it's dark out, and I was trying to always appreciate practice or a workout or obviously a game. So it taught me a lot.
Patrice, not to take you back to '07 again, and I apologize, and then we can move on maybe. But for those of us who were there that day, it was to me anyway, it was we've talked about this. It was kind of a frightening news conference, and it occurred to me. I don't know if it occurred to you. Was it in your mind that you might not play again? Can you speak specifically to that?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was ever in my mind. I always believed, I always had hope that I was going to get better. But yeah, I guess there were some moments that were a little darker and that had me think for a second. But I was always trying to stay positive on moving past that hurdle and that adversity and finding a way.
Congrats on retirement.
Thank
A couple questions. First, how strong were the second thoughts, if you had any, before the official announcement, just thinking about it this summer? And who did you talk to most about retiring, when you were thinking about it back and forth, and maybe what was the best advice or the best thing that somebody said to you while you were talking to people about it?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of guys over the course of the last, year, I guess, since last summer. A lot of great conversations, a lot of people, a lot of guys I respect a lot, and a lot of different opinions also, and advice. So it was pretty special, and to me, the recurring theme was always that you're gonna know when it's time, and it just felt like it was. I'm a very intuitive guy. I feel like I always listen to my instincts and my heart, and it just felt like it was time for me to move on. Unfortunately, I wish I could play till forever and never have to do this. But as it's eventually you have to move on, and the body it tells you some things sometimes. And I think I had an idea most of the year that it was most likely, there was a good chance it was going to be my last year. I wasn't necessarily public, as with it, and I wasn't sharing with many people, but some guys knew that there was a chance. But I've always, and obviously, communicated with management, with Cam and Sweens a lot about it, and so they knew, even at exit meetings, that it was a possibility. But then I didn't want to obviously close the door completely, because I wanted to make sure I was going to let the dust settle and really think about it's a big decision, and I didn't want to I guess make the wrong one. I guess I wanted to make sure it was the right decision for myself and my family. So it took a lot of time, but and put a lot of thoughts into it, and but at the end of the day, it's I feel like it's the right decision for myself. I'm excited for what's to come, but obviously, as I said, it's mixed feelings to be here, standing here right now. Part of me is as I said, grateful and sad to leave something so special, but also excited for the next chapter.
Hi, Patrice. First off, congratulations on a phenomenal career. The city of Boston and all the fans have so much to remember you by, whether it be all the Selkies, whether it be the Stanley Cup win, your leadership. What do you specifically want to be remembered for, and what do you want your legacy to be, if you could write it in your own words?
I don't know. I mean, that's such a hard question for me. I think what I've always tried to do is be a good role model for kids and the younger generation, for my kids, but also for anyone that watched the Bruins or the game. And it was always important for me to kind of try to leave a good example and lead that way on and off the ice. I think the community work was really important for me, and I've met so many amazing people throughout the years that it's pretty special. So I don't know. I think the one thing I'll definitely say is I left everything out there. I have no regrets on anything, and I gave my all. But to be remembered, I think it's more hopefully the connections and the way that I was trying to get to know people personally, and to me that's what matters most.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Patrice. What do you love about the game of hockey?
Oh my God. Obviously what the feelings that you get, right, playing the game, and the adrenaline, the challenge, the adversity. I've said that many times. I think the game has given me more than I've actually been able to give the game. It's pretty special just to have like the friends and the people reaching out yesterday about whether I've played with them for a year or for more than that. It's always the connections, the friendships, the people that I've met, and to me that's what I'll miss the most probably. It is the laughs and all the great memories. But the game has given me a lot, and I'm pretty thankful for it all. And but I think it's the competitiveness and I think it's I guess a combination of things. There's not one thing that I love the most about it, but it's just how I guess I feel about it.
Patrice, congrats.
Thank you.
When I've talked to you in the past about this day or the future, you've sounded, lack of a better word, you sounded lukewarm about the idea of coaching. Mm-hmm. Still feel that way? Is that a fair depiction?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's in the cards for now. You never say never, and see what can happen eventually. But for now, as I said earlier, I have a lot of catching up to do at home, and I want to kind of take time to rest and really take time for myself as well, and unwind. And it's been an amazing ride for 20 years, but also like hockey brings you a lot of pressure and stress and things on the outside that it'll be a nice change to just be able to kind of be the Uber driver for the family for a little bit and just relax and that's it. So never say never, but I don't for now I don't have like a want or a will to coach.
And also connected to that, you've been on this track for 20 years, maybe 5 years as a kid leading up to it, so 25 years of, people don't often appreciate the grind that goes into the career.
Yeah.
So are there parts specific to the grind, if you will, the preparation, the mental energy and dedication and all, are there parts when you reach this point you're glad to let them go?
I don't know. I think like it's those would be a nice change. I think I don't know if I'm glad to let some things go from it, but I think there's in anything that you do, there's always things that are awesome, and there's things that are part of it, and you have to kind of get used to it. And so there might be some things that I'm not going to miss as much, but overall, I think it's been a pretty special ride, and there's not much that I would really change, to be honest with you. So like, there's not one thing that I think like I'm happy that it's over. You know what I mean?
How about just like adhering to a diet or the conditioning and the work, all of it?
I don't know. I feel I kind of I want to make sure I stay healthy and I stay on top of that. Maybe the grind won't be the same, and the preparation won't be the same, and all that stuff. So yeah, maybe in a way it will be nice to just kind of do that, but not have like a schedule or have like an end game, if you will. So and we'll see. Maybe I'll need something to like he ran a marathon. So obviously the competitive nature is always going to be there, so we'll see what happens. But you're right, that I see what you're saying. So like that part, to just kind of take a step back will be nice.
Patrice, congratulations. Was there a moment in time since the end of the season you just got up and you knew this was the end?
There wasn't like a particular moment. I think it was over time that it kind of came to me that, as the year and the summer went on, I felt like as I said, I was trying to let the dust settle and see, like, is there going to be a part of me that's going to want to, come back? And it was really never the case. I think, like, as like the preparation and and the routine and the workout regimen is important to be on top of your game and making sure you're doing the right things. And that motivation was slowed down a little bit. I'm not going to lie, this summer. And yeah, it's almost like I was listening to my body and the signs, and it's almost like it was telling me that, like, you're not really missing your workouts. You're not really missing, you haven't been on the ice for a long time, and you haven't really had the itch to get back. And yeah, so I think it's like just all the way throughout, like, I just knew it was time, and I was waiting for anything to happen or for any motivation to come back, and it was just, I just felt like it was the right time for me to move on. And yeah, and I think at time you have to listen to your body eventually, and as you know, it's 20 years is a lot of hockey, a lot of games, and obviously the game is physically pretty demanding, so it takes a toll on its body, and no major issues, but like there's obviously some aches and pains from the past that kind of reminds me when I wake up in the morning. So yeah, I think it's just time to let that heal and move on.
Patrice, congratulations.
Thank you.
If I could take you back to your rookie year and your relationship with Marty Lapointe.
Yeah.
How did you use that to shape your career and your leadership, and maybe how you dealt with younger players as you got older?
Yeah, Marty has had a huge influence on me and my career, and just to being able to come in, I was an 18-year-old young adult and didn't know much about the game, the pro sport, the city, you name it. I wasn't familiar with it, and just the fact that he took me under his wing and the influence that he had, the impact that he's had on me and on my career as well, on and off the ice, and the fact that his family was so kind to me is something I'll always be grateful. And I actually took the moment yesterday to text him about that, because I felt like yesterday and today is a day of gratitude for myself, for everything that I've been through, and the people that I've met, and the people that have helped me to get to this point. And I think that's what matters most to me right now, and that's why I wrote this letter, was to make sure I was really taking the time to really address the people that influenced me, that made an impact, that made this happen. Because obviously you don't do this by yourself, and I've been very fortunate and lucky to have so many people. So Marty was a huge influence, as I said, and I've always tried to, I guess, emulate what he did to the young guys. So yeah.
Hi, Patrice.
Hey, Lou.
Well done. A couple questions. First, do you know where your family will call home?
We don't know yet. We're definitely going to be here for like this coming year, the school year for sure, and make a decision eventually. Obviously, Boston has been our home for my home for the last 20 years, and for the kids like close to a decade now. So it's special. So it is a close place close to our hearts, and we'll see.
And then also, maybe this past season, or maybe even in other seasons, did you ever feel in your game, your performance, any kind of slippage? Did you ever feel like, oh, I can't do something? Or were you satisfied with the level of play that you were able to maintain throughout?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was probably the preparation to get to the ice. I guess the stretching and the mobility work that I had to stay on top of, and yeah, so I guess the preparation to get on the ice for practice was getting longer for games, and it just took me like more time to prepare. And as far as the game goes, I mean, there's always parts of your game that you want to you feel like it's not quite there. I think it's more mentally you're just pushing yourself to be better and to be at the top of your game as much as possible. I think you're always trying to work on things and you're never satisfied, I guess. So I've always been that way. So it's hard to really say if there's like how I felt my game was. You're always kind of there's room for improvement. So that's all I've always kind of went about my business, I guess, over the years. But I felt good. I felt good on the ice. I felt good skating. I felt good, making plays and whatnot. I felt like the game was still slowing down, like when I had the puck. And it's not like I felt like I had no time and space, or I couldn't create time and space for myself. But it was more really the preparation, and it was taking a lot longer now I couldn't just like put the equipment on and jump on the ice.
You mentioned a couple times wanting to go out at the top of your game.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because you obviously could have come back and been a major contributor to a team and still been a really, really good player. Why it had to be, the peak?
There was no particular reason. I think I started when I was 18. It's been 20 years. I think it's a lot. It's a lot mentally. It's a lot physically. I think it wasn't like an actual. I didn't necessarily need to leave on top of my game, but I'm glad I am. I feel good about that. But then it was more like just as I said, the body and the mileage with all the games and also just it's time with the family. With 4 kids now, I'm glad and I'm looking forward to spending more time at home, and I felt like it was the right time. But as far as my game goes, it's not like I was trying to be leave at the top of my game. It was more just I'm glad that's how I'm leaving, I guess.
Will you watch much hockey this year? Will you, whether it's attending it or TV here for centennial events? Do you need time, some distance between it, or do you feel like you'll still watch?
Good question. I'll definitely be cheering the guys on and rooting for the organization and wish nothing but the best, and hope for continued success for sure. As far as I'll be honest, I wasn't watching games even when I was playing that much, so I don't know if I'm going to watch games now. We'll find out this year, but so I'm sure once in a while I'll tune in, but I don't know if I'll watch that many games.
Just a couple of follows. If the decision for your family is not to stay here, I assume that's back in Quebec City?
Yes.
Yeah. And is language part of that whole decision?
Language, no. It's more like family. If being away from both of our families. So, but we'll see. It's also an easy drive or an easy flight. So, we'll make it work.
And the other one is when you were mulling the decision, pros and cons of staying, leaving.
Yeah.
What factor did the way this past season end have in that factoring? Because obviously it was disappointing for everybody.
No, for sure. It was definitely something that I was thinking about, and that's why I wanted to let the dust settle. That was the biggest thing is when the wound is fresh and you can't make rational decisions, right? So you have to really make sure you think about things and or at least give yourself time to let it come to you. And I felt like that's what I did. And there's a part of me that wanted to come back early on, but then as it went on, it just wasn't. As I said, the bigger part of me was always leaning towards that being my last year, and I was trying to look at the big picture as well, and not just be stuck in the ending and look at the whole thing. And as I said, once I took a step back and I realized everything that was fortunate to experience and live as a hockey player and as a person. I felt very lucky and grateful. So for me, it kind of overweight that and helped. I guess my decision didn't really factor in that for that long.
Patrice, congratulations over here.
Thank you.
I don't know if you saw the recorded messages from your teammates wishing you well on the Bruins social media page. One that stood out was Charlie McAvoy saying, "What you've built here is special. I'll do my best to take care of it." When you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, and obviously it's a lot of guys that have built the culture and how we want things to kind of to be around the locker room and being inclusive and whatnot, and also not just with the players but also everyone kind of surrounding the team and that's involved in the day-to-day. So it means a lot, and I know these guys will be great. Chucky's he's a character guy and a very great young man. So they're in great hands with all these guys, all the leadership, and as I said, it wasn't me. It was also them and the guys before me, like Z and the rest of that crew. So, but obviously that message meant a lot from all the guys. It was pretty cool and a nice little secret from Penner over there.
Take our last question in English from Jim.
Patrice, I remember either the first day or one of the first days you were here in Boston as a rookie. You told us how much of a Nordiques fan you were, and you hated the Canadians, and you embraced that rivalry right away. What did that mean to you? And then just reflecting back on it, how great was it for you to be part of that?
Yeah, it felt amazing, just to be a part of that rivalry. I feel very lucky and fortunate that was a small part of it. You know what I mean? Like the Bruins' history is something that's always going to mean a lot to me, and obviously the Canadians and their history as well. So obviously growing up in Quebec City with the Nordiques and a big rivalry, it made it, I guess, extra special to be a Bruin and to continue that rivalry. As I said, I've always had tremendous respect for both organizations, and it was just an honor for me to be a part of that.
Thanks, Patrice. We'll take a quick break and we'll do questions in French. If anybody in English wants to stay, you're welcome to.
Patrice, Jean-Philippe Martin de Radio-Canada. Félicitations d'abord.
Merci.